Join Divine Oracle readings, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. Your hosts, Gypsy Lady Eva and Brother Chris, discuss spiritual topics and current events. You can always subscribe underneath YouTube of Divine Oracle readings.
Alrighty, well, welcome everybody. Welcome to the second one of us discussing about a lot of topics. Tonight, though, what we're going to be doing we're going to be talking about where have they gone. So my co-host is actually Eva, that's Lady Gypsy Eva. So how are you?
I am doing fine. Everything is healing and I'm getting better, and I still have a long way to go, but one step at a time.
Yeah. So for people that don't know or just tuning in to our show, Eva was actually in the hospital. She was almost in there for 3 months, something like that.
2 months.
2 months. Okay, sorry. So it was quite a while. It was quite a while, but yeah. So Eva is just recovering. And yeah, so again, though, tonight, though, what we're doing is we're talking about where have they gone. I have a poem. My name is Brother Mean Chris, and the poem, though, is where have they gone? Where have they gone? All the friends from yesterday. Where have they gone? The happy times I used to know, like the sun setting, which calls the closer of the day. They have to each decide where have they gone.
And that is probably one of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Long discussed, long wondered at, where have they gone? We're talking about people who have passed. And what got me started on this was 3 weeks ago, I got a phone call and I was informed that one of my longtime friends, Pat Nordine, had passed away. Pat was the same age as I, and we have known each other since second grade. And that's over.
Don't want to say how old you are, but don't want to say how old you are.
I'm not ashamed. I admit I am 73. So we have known each other since second grade. So that makes it almost 70 years.
Yes.
And we've gone through a lot together. She lost her dad, and I was there with her, and I lost my dad, and she was there with me. But we've just been through a lot together. And I mean, since second grade, of course, you go through a lot. And when she passed, it was bad because it was so unexpected. She had a massive heart attack. Apparently, she got up in the night, went and sat in her one chair. And in the morning, they found her there. They thought she was still sleeping, but she had passed. And like I said, Pat was the same age as I, so it was really kind of a gut punch, so to speak. And I did feel her presence for quite some time. I still feel her presence. And it's like my dad. I feel my dad's presence all the time. And there are other people that wander in and out, so to speak. But the question is, where do they go? Obviously, they're not on this plane of knowing in existence. They're someplace else. So where are they?
That's a good question, though.
And, you know, you can say, okay, for our religion, or the Christian religions, it's heaven. Other religions call it the Elysian Fields, the happy hunting ground. There's many, many other reiterations of what the afterlife is all about. But we don't know. Like I always like to say, there's only one person I know that died and came back. And he didn't really talk about the afterlife. He just told us to follow him. And I think you know who I'm talking about. Yeah. Big JC, Jesus Christ. He did come back. He told him we will be there waiting for you. But he really didn't say a lot about the afterlife. What is there? Hinted at it, but never really said. And I think if you look through a lot of other sacred texts or sacred scriptures, however you want to call it, you'll come up with the same thing, that there are hints at it, but nobody really knows. And I find it fascinating that there are people out there who claim they had an near-death experience where they actually went to heaven and saw all these marvelous things. And I find it interesting. I'm not saying what they experienced was false, but I'm not saying what they experienced was actual, because I think. Go
Sorry for
ahead.
cutting off. But yeah, I know for myself though, in '88, family was in a serious car accident, and I lost buckets of blood. The doctor state that I was actually dead over 8 minutes. And I remember the gates precisely since you started talking about that. Right, I could indicate what I actually saw and everything else. But yeah, I'm back again. So I'm one of those very few that I've actually had the chance to be able to come back. But I know usually whenever people say, "Oh yeah, this is what I've seen," most times though I find though that it's basically hearsay, right? Because
And I go ahead.
go ahead. No,
No, go ahead.
what I was going to say though is for myself though. The gates weren't gold like what they're saying. The gold light was behind. And there were right when I looked at the gates were like silver. Okay, but there was a pillar of walls actually on each side. There was 3 rocks on the right hand side, sort of line up as a diamond. One, but the guy got up there, he opened up the scroll and said, "Chris, it's not your turn yet." And then I came back.
I remember.
So
I'm sorry.
go
I
ahead,
remember
go ahead.
I remember reading one account of someone who got up to the pearly gates or whatever gates, got up to where he was supposed to be, and the spirit told him, "No, it's not your time." And he goes, "But I want to stay here." And he goes, "You can't stay here." "Well, then send me back." And he said he woke up almost instantly. He's like,
Yeah,
"Okay."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, but
And go ahead.
but it's just interesting, like, I don't know. Go ahead. Your turn.
Yeah. Well, it's like what you were saying though. Different religions have different beliefs. What goes on actually after death? The Hindu sort of believe actually in reincarnation. Know that we are actually put into Earth. Of course, our body is in the ground, but then all of a sudden we have a second chance. So we could come back actually as an animal. We can come back actually as a little child. It's really hard to really say of what's going actually on. I know though that there's a lot more people walking around in spirit form here actually on underneath Earth, like on Earth. Um, some of us were very sensitive, some of us were not. So, but losing like somebody that's your age though hits you really hard.
Oh,
Right?
it does. And it's when I was younger, I had the fear of death like a lot of people do. But as I have gotten older, that fear isn't there anymore. It's like, how can I say? It's not like you're waiting for death, but it's like, yeah, so then begins the next part of the journey. And that's another thing, you talked about the Hindus, and there are other various religions around the world that also believe that you can come back,
Yeah.
either to correct something, to learn something, to have more experiences. I read myth, I don't know what you would call it, that the energies when God made, or whoever made the angels, there are energies left over, and these energies were not enough. We're still had a mind, but they couldn't compete with or be with the angels because they didn't have enough energy. And you come back again and again to build the energy, and eventually you become an angel.
Yeah.
And I love that one.
Yeah. Talking about angels, like I studied underneath Kyle Gray. For people that don't know about Kyle Gray, I would say check out his books, or even check him out online. But he works with angels, and in his book, though, he actually indicates that there's different levels for the angels to be able to work through. You don't become an angel right away, but there are actually different levels. And again, though, go ahead.
I was just going to say, in the Christian belief, there is 9 choirs of angels. Choirs, not meaning choirs that sing type thing, but just different levels, 9 different levels. The first 3 are totally involved with humans. The next 3 are humans and other angels, and the third one is angels alone.
Yeah, it's like
okay.
But yeah, so with loved ones, so is where have they gone? Even especially on their journey while they've been here on Earth, you know that you might lose track of them. They come back actually in your life. You find out what type of journeys that they've taken actually on their life.
Excuse me, I believe that there is the idea that there are soul families, and it's like you and I have met and connected, and we're on the same level, but that's because we're from the same soul family. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that goes on with that is the whole family evolves together, so that eventually all of you become angels or supreme beings. I don't know how you'd want to say it. And it takes time. But you talk about where do they go? And I think the different religions give us an idea of what heaven is, but only because trying to think how to say this. We have an idea of what heaven is, but it's only because we have been put into the state of mind, this is heaven. If you talk with an indigenous person, their idea is the happy hunting ground idea.
Yeah.
I know not all of them, but the majority, it's a place where there is all kinds of hunting that can be done. You don't have to worry about water. You don't have to worry about all the things that are a problem here. And if you talk with the Vikings, theirs is Valhalla, and Valhalla is just one big, massive party, essentially. And I think it's like each culture defines heaven in its own parameters. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And to me, being the science fiction person that I am, I think heaven, the afterlife, is a different reality. Parallel universe, alternate universe, I'm not really sure, but it's a different reality. It is not our reality. And because we are no longer attached to these mortal bodies that we have, I still got one. And because we're still attached to the body, we can't really perceive it much more than just another place. And it's heaven. It's where everything is taken care of. We don't have to worry anymore. Where do they go? I think when they leave this mortal body, their energy moves into another reality that allows them to see the connections that, like we can only see on 3 dimensions or 4 dimensions, or however they care to give us anymore. I think it's up to 6 now. And that's only because that's what our senses can perceive. Once we reach beyond that, or leave this mortal body, we are given all the dimensions all at once. Does that, what is that? Everywhere all at once?
Yeah, and it's true though. It's true though, because a lot of people though that walk actually here on Earth, they think though that we only look at the 3 dimension, but there is so many different dimensions though that we actually look at, and it's true though, because how many of us are really tapping into the other side?
We're not.
Of those dimensions, and it's true though. A lot of us we're not.
A lot of us are scared of it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said before, when I was younger, I was very much, I don't want to say scared of death, but it was not something I wanted to deal with. No.
Yeah.
But as I have gotten older, just a second. Let's get in somebody else here. Hey, Ma, turn around. My mother is here. You're 93.
90, gonna be 3.
Are you afraid of death?
No.
Just another step.
What happens, happens.
That's the best way how to look at it, Mom.
Yeah.
So it's like that. So thanks, Mom.
I'm really not ready to go, but if I have to go, I'll go.
Yeah.
I keep hoping well, my father, he always said he wants to take one more step and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. He looked at me and he says, I'm not going to make it. He took a step and fell over. He was dead before he hit the floor. My friend Pat went to sleep and never woke up. That's the way I want to go. I don't want all this suffering.
Yeah.
Of course, with my karma, oh God.
You'll be here forever, girl.
No. They talk about immortality, and it's like you read books about people who have lived forever. There's different stories about it, and sometimes you look at it and you think, that'd be kind of cool just to see what happens, and then you think about it and it's like, no, not really.
Yes,
you can't make any friends, all kinds of bad things. But the idea is, getting back to the main question again, where do they go? We've talked a lot about heaven, but I really wonder if it's heaven or if it's because our senses are now heightened, connected, that heaven is not exactly what we perceive it, but it's there. It's the perception that we have of heaven here is not really what happens after our body or after our soul leaves our life force.
Yeah. We'll talk about that just after this break. So we're gonna go for a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
At any time, so that's why our Etsy store is always open. Get your paranormal items from cleansing to protection to attraction. Live.
How's it going? I've got a challenge for you guys. If you guys follow, like, and subscribe, sort of like what's saying right here, I actually need this page underneath YouTube. So I encourage you guys actually to like, subscribe, share actually to all your friends. A lot more hits. Alright? You guys have an awesome day, and I look forward for seeing actually you guys like and subscribe.
September 10th, why not come out to the Stratford Perth Museum for the Indigenous Arts and Craft Market for celebration with the You can always listen to Divine Oracle readings on audio play.
Alrighty, and while we were just actually on that quick commercial break, I just sent something over to Eva. Eva's actually at the other table right now, and Eva, you said that was pretty cool the way I sent you.
Yes, thank you. I would like to share it if you don't mind.
No problem.
So your smile is gone forever, and your hand we cannot touch. We have so many memories of the ones we love so much. Your memory is our keepsake, with which we never part. God has you in his keeping. We have you in our hearts. And I just love that. That is so neat.
Yeah.
So
I
perfect.
saw. I actually had that within the footnotes, so I have it actually in front of me and in front of the table. I know that you're right across from me, but I figured best thing to do is get up for a drink commercial break and just bring it over to you. So yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
no problem. So yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about different actually beliefs of what happens, those where people can go after they right when their spirits have been here actually on Earth. So yeah, so again, those like earlier I was talking about actually the Hebrew, I think it was the Hindu portion. There's some people that are actually non-religion at all, and they don't know what goes on after death. Um, Now, for myself though, I just basically say though is since I am indigenous, so that yeah, my body is reincarnated actually back. We've Trevor and I, the producer and the co-host actually of HauntingLIVE podcast, which we're affiliated with. Um, People have said though that we've been married in our past lives.
Yeah.
Different genders. So yeah,
Hmm.
and so yeah. So what would you say, Eva?
Well, I just did a quick glance and see what I could see, and I see something in about the 1700s with you and Trevor. Um, Trevor was the master, and you were the like a not really a indentured servant, maybe, but you were a woman, and the two of you did a lot of traveling together.
Okay.
I just find that fascinating. And oh,
Yep.
in the 1500s, one of you was royal and the other one was not. So they kept you hidden, but there was definitely love there.
Okay.
Okay, that's kind of interesting.
All right.
Sorry.
So,
Uh,
no, we find it's pretty cool. So,
um, you know, I want to bring in an experience that I had when I was first learning how to meditate. I opened up completely and I was in a deep meditation and I was aware of moving through space, for lack of a better word. And all of a sudden, I was aware that my guides were with me and they said, "We're going to show you something." And I'm going like, "Ooh." And the next thing I know, I was listening to the celestial choir. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
yeah.
Up until then, I had never heard of it. But afterwards, I started doing some research. I could see every soul there, and I could hear every note. And each person had their own note and their own color. And there were gazillions. That's the only way I can describe it. Just gazillions of these. And yet there was such harmony and such beauty in that music that it was just, I did not want to leave.
Yep.
And of course, I was told, no, you can't stay, not yet. But I've carried that with me for a long time. And it makes me wonder that if in the great beyond, wherever they go, we all go to this celestial choir where we are allowed to sing our experiences. I'm not really sure how that works, but it gives me a different insight. It gave me a different insight to what heaven is. Heaven is not what we are taught in Sunday school. Heaven isn't what we are taught in whatever religion we happen to belong to. And what it exists of afterwards, it's there, but it's not there. It's what we perceive it to be. And once we hit with the choir, we finally make that soul connection with the rest of the universe.
Yeah.
That's just my idea. So when I die, they're going to stand there and there's going to be all aliens and they're going to be laughing their head off.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, because who really knows like sound like what you're just saying those who really knows what really takes place after this dimension, right?
We don't know.
Yeah, and it's hard to say. Go
I
ahead.
personally, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
I personally believe it is an existence outside of time and outside of this universe or any other universe out there. And it's where our energies go. And our energies can either be, once they are created, are not, cannot be destroyed.
Yeah.
And I do believe in reincarnation. I think we do come back. I think there are things we need to learn that we can't learn in one lifetime. My main example of that is, what is love? And you can't always learn about love. Love, love, love. All you really need is love.
It's love.
Beatles person.
Yeah.
And
For people though that are just listening, after Eva said that, both of our heads started bopping.
yeah, oh God, my goodness, I've got him doing the same thing as me. I'm using love because that's the biggest lesson. And you can't learn love just by being the giver. You have to also learn how to be the receiver.
Yeah.
And there are also ways of learning about love when there is no love. So that sort of thing. So this whole philosophical thing. And I think that's why we are reincarnated.
Yeah.
You can't learn it all in one. And the best example I have from that is from a teacher many years ago who said, yeah, it's like going to high school or going to school. You go through first grade, second grade, on and on. Right. And I'm like, oh, geez, I've been through high school again. I don't know if I want to do that.
That's like awesome. Yeah, so basically those, where have they gone? Like that is the biggest question though. Right when we be doing the cards, Eva has seen though, I've been playing with actually one of my set decks. And the cards I've been playing with though are actually the angels and ancestor cards. And these three cards are really good though, because they deal with today's topic though. The first one was peacekeeper. Let go of the need let go of the need to be right. So I'll show this to you, Eva, since you're crossing me. Right. So that's the first one, right? Again, though, the second one though I drew up though with just white witch, right? And this one here, be the light, right? So for those who are listening right now, with the first card though is peacekeeper though is, and basically let go of the need to be right though. Hey, we never know what's going to go on right when we're gone. So what you're doing right now though, just basically though is live with it, all right? And just and the second one though is be the light, put positivity to it, so that way you're actually doing positive to people. That way people can remember you. Like, not even that could be right when you're gone, like passed away, or even with just down the road, right? That way you're showing the light. Yeah, hey, I was here. Remember me. The last one I got though is the wise one, and this one here is grow within the current situation. All right.
I like that one.
So what we're talking about today though is, where have they gone? Again, those grow within the current situation, right? We always grow from actually listening to others. You can take the points that are actually shared and be able to bring that forward and say, how can that help me? So those are actually a couple cards actually I drew. And those ones are really good, especially with today's topic, where have they gone?
Oh yeah, definitely. Where have they gone? Where have all the flowers gone? Sorry.
Well,
But if you think about that song, where have all the flowers gone? Gone to young girls, everyone. Where have all the young girls gone? To soldier. If you think about that song, there's a lot of logic to it.
Yeah.
Where have all the souls gone? We don't know. To young girls everywhere? To people everywhere? Reincarnation? And I don't believe we just reincarnate here. I believe we also reincarnate other places, which explains my Um,
you're loving butt.
I keep thinking, you say, where have they gone? And another question that definitely comes up with that is, where have they gone? How come I have experienced my father's presence many times? I have experienced my grandfather's presence many times. So if they are in this other place, why are they here?
Yeah.
That's another aspect of where have they gone? Are they just in a different dimension that we can't see them?
Yeah.
Another universe, another existence? I don't, however you want to place it.
Well, that's a good question though, is because again, those we're only used to this one dimension,
Right.
But there are tons of other dimensions. Albert Einstein has actually proven though that there is actually different dimensions. When he was
And
actually here
Stephen
on
Hawking
Earth.
has also reiterated the different dimensions.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Dimensions
how do we know for sure though that we're the only ones here, especially when there's other dimensions?
Oh,
And a good movie, awesome movie though that actually explains about dimensions, especially with today's topic though, is The Matrix.
Yes.
All right. I know a while ago that we were talking about The Matrix, but you know, is with The Matrix, they're here, but they're not here.
Yeah.
All right. Our thoughts are always we always say are with you, but are they really with them? Or are we thinking about actually them instead of our thoughts with them?
Good question. Very good question. I don't know. I don't pretend to have the answers on this at all. I have my perceptions of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Where are they? And if you do have someone that you have lost and you feel their presence, there's just something that you know that they are there. And again, that's something that I can't really explain in words because number one, we don't have enough words to describe this other dimension. And even if we did, would there be people who would understand it?
So true. And we'll keep it at that.
Okay.
All right. And we will see you guys all next week with another great show, though, that we will be airing at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time, and that's 4:00 Pacific Time. So tune in next week for when there's a lot more great topics up ahead.
Okie dokie.
All right.
Have a great week, everyone.
Yep, you too.
How's it going? I've got a challenge for you guys. If you guys follow, like, and subscribe, sort of like what's saying right here, actually need this page underneath YouTube. So I encourage you guys actually to like, subscribe, share actually to all your friends. That way, a lot more hits. Alright? You guys have an awesome day, and I look forward for seeing actually you guys like and subscribe right here underneath Divine Oracle Readings.